Hi, and thank you for watching. Today I wanted to talk about the details of Chen Tai Chi's silk reeling exercise. So I want to talk about it in looking at sort of two different components. There's what the arm is doing and then what the body is doing. The exercise itself starts with our feet in a horse stance. The hand is simply going to be doing a movement that circles around, with the movement of the body guiding that motion. So if we just look at the hand, we can look at it, break it into 4 segments. If the hand was starting at the top of the circle at 12 o'clock, it moves to 3 o'clock, down to 6 o'clock, over to 9 o'clock, and back to 12 o'clock. So the 4 quadrants of a circle. While the arm is doing that circling, the wrist is also turning. So at the top of the circle, the thumb is pointing in. As we bring our hand across, the thumb is pointing to the side. As the hand drops down, the thumb is pointing away from us. As it comes up, the thumb is pointing out. And then when we come back to the 12 o'clock, the top of the circle, the thumb is pointing in. So this is the movement of the arm and the wrist. And I'm breaking it into these 4 pieces because it helps us find and clarify what the body is doing. What the body is doing is, starting from the horse stance, the body shifts its weight to one side. The body then turns into that hip. The body then shifts the weight to the other side, and then we relax and turn into the other hip, so the torso changes. So there's the weight shift, the turn of the body, closing into the hip, weight shift back, closing into the hip. Keeping these different motions, these 4 different phases distinct, is actually quite important. So with the hand at the top of the circle, thumb pointing in, as the hand goes to one side, the weight shifts to the other. Keep the weight on the heels, make sure the knee doesn't go too far forward. Weight set back. All the standard Chen style Tai Chi parameters for the frame remain in place. Shift the weight to one side as the hand goes to the other. Turn into that hip, brings the hand down. Hand goes in one direction, weight shifts to the other side. Because of the dynamic of the shifting of the weight, changing the facing of the body, the hand is still in front of us, not off to the side, in front of us. Again, check that the weight is on the heel and that the weight is set back. From here, turn into that hip, hand comes to the top of the circle. Shift the weight, lower the hand, turn into the hip, bring the hand down. Shift the weight back, raise the hand up along the midline, turn into the other hip, bring the hand across. So these 4 segments of the circle that the arm is describing is linked to the different movements in the body. The other reason we have to break it down, or want to break it down into this and pay attention to these 4 stages, is because the stages are either applying power or positioning the body. So when you're positioning the body, you don't want to apply power. When you're applying power, you don't want to change where your center is located, basically is what it means. So coming back with the hand at the top, we shift our weight and the hand presses down. We apply power as we turn into the hip and pull the hand to the midline. Shift the weight, raise the hand up, turn into the other hip, apply the power outwards, pressing out. So press down, deflect, lift up, press outwards, press down, deflect or pull, lift up, push outwards. One more time. Shift the weight, turn into the hip, Shift the weight back, turn into the other hip. Trying to do the same thing, but getting the weight shift and the applying power confused will lead you into problems with applications. So there's points when you're trying to apply power, but you're shifting your weight, and you will find that you become unsteady, or you'll find that the opponent will be able to push you out because you have firm contact with them, which means they have firm contact with you. And in those moments, if you shift your weight, then there'll be a moment where you will be unstable, and the force will be able to come onto your center. If you're shifting your weight, you don't want to be applying your power for the exact same reason. So from the center, the repositioning with the weight shift, the applying power with the turn into the hip, repositioning with the weight shift, applying power with turning into the hip. When you have an understanding of that, then it doesn't have to be quite so rigid in its movement. It doesn't have to be quite so mechanical. The movement can be smoother and more connected. And of course, this is the same mechanism with both hands, which is of course the Yunshou cloud hands posture. So I hope this information is helpful for you. Keep learning, keep practicing,